Hi, I'm Chaplain Grant Hasty, Senior Chaplain at Country House in Wilmington, Delaware. Did you know the story of Moses is in the book of Acts? Chapter 7, to be exact. I want us to learn about something in that area. Now, at this point, the author of Acts, Luke, says this as he recants the story of Moses. He goes to the point where he says, "Are you going to kill me like you killed the other Egyptian yesterday?" This is when Moses was encountering another Egyptian. When Moses heard that, he fled the country, and from there he lived as a foreigner in the land of Midian. There he had his 2 sons. 40 years later in the desert, near Mount Sinai, an angel appeared to Moses in the flame of a burning bush. Now let's notice carefully here the process that took place throughout those years. I call those years for Moses desert learning, because it is in the same situation that most of us learn, in the desert, don't we? We learn best in those sandy places. God must break through in those desert places. He uses those things to break through hard exterior barriers that are in our lives before he then can renovate our souls. His persistent goal is to break through to the inner person in us. David acknowledged the same thing in Psalm 51:6 when he said, "Behold, you desire truth in the innermost being, and in the hidden parts you will make known wisdom." So what are those resistant layers in our hearts? And how does he break through to those hidden parts? I think the first thing he does, he finds our pride. And then he uses the sandpaper of obscurity, making us unknown or inconspicuous, to remove every one of those things that have to do with pride. Then he finds us gripped by fear. Sometimes the dread of our past and the anxiety, and even the anxiety of our present and the terror for which may lay ahead. Well, he's going to use those passing of time to remove that fear. And we learn that though things may not be the way we want them to be, we know that we're in his hand and he's changing us. The next thing I think most of us will encounter is our barriers of resistance and resentment. Even the tyranny of bitterness comes into hand, doesn't he? I think he breaks through that and comes down to the layer of helping us understand by using solitude in our lives. In the silence of his presence, we gain a fresh perspective. Gradually, we begin to release our cherished rights that we hold on to, and we let go of those expectations that hold us hostage. Finally, I think the last stage comes when he gets down to the basic habit and we start living the way he wants us to live. And he gets us to that place by penetrating our inner person. And it's there that he brings discomfort and hardship to buff us and buff away the layers of resistance. Well, why does he do it this way? Well, so that he can remove us from the very core of our own being. He wants us to reach out to him and reach out our hand to him to be our guide. He is the Lord of the desert. Remember, you are the most precious object of God's love. You are his child in the desert. And during these times of shaping us, he is more focused on making us more like him during that time than anything else. We are his beloved students, taking his toughest courses in life. And while he's testing us, we must remember he loves us with an infinite amount of love. You see, Jesus walked through the desert first before us. He felt its heat, he endured its loneliness, and he accepted its obscurity. He faced down Satan himself while the desert winds howled. And you can be sure he will never, ever forget or forsake the one who follows him across that sand. We are often slowed by this difficulty, aren't we? But let's not let this obscure time of him using the sands of time to shape us. Let's not let it do less than what he intends it to do. Always remembering he loves us fully.